our book to movie adaptation of Artemis Fowl.
Somebody's excited and has been 2 years.
Yay!
So yeah, today we are drinking Rough Day Rosé. Figured it was fitting for this book.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Forget y'all.
It's from actual Beltsville, Maryland. So
Ow!
Ooh, MD in the house.
We're gonna have to go check them out.
So but yeah, it's good. It's refreshing.
Lynn, so appropriate.
Yeah.
So appropriate.
Medium-bodied, not super sweet, not super dry. I like it. I prepared to drink it, and I didn't realize that it was a cork, not a screw top. So I had to go scrounge for my opener, but it's here, and I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah, it's a rough day. Can you take a couple sips for me, please?
Right.
Okay, so Rhea, who's the writer? Who's the author of this book? I can't remember anything about it, so I just.
That would be Mr. Collier. I think it's Eoin. I have to look it up. Collier, if I pronounce it right.
Okay.
Let me tell you guys something. You're gonna leave Artemis Fowl alone, okay? Sorry.
Well, listen, I went into it with this notion that it was going to be like Harry Potter's vibe. That I don't really care for Harry Potter, but I can get through the stories and I kind of know what it's about. It's a little suspenseful, but I can at least say that I would enjoy the story a little. That was the wrong mindset to have. And I'm just telling y'all right now, I can't talk about the storyline of the book because I don't know what it was about.
So I
read it.
I googled the budget for Harry Potter, like the Sorcerer's Stone, the first one, so pilot movie, and it was $125 million. So I was like, all right, cool. So I went to Google Artemis Fowl, and it was it had to be maybe 70 million. 125 million.
Yeah.
Right. Fiction. That's what my face said. The same thing. Where do these graphics go? It's all just the casting, I guess.
Because honestly, well, let's talk about the book.
Yeah, we can talk about the book, but I wanted to tell you that I went to I was like, what? $125 million? Do you know what I could have done with that?
But not even just the graphics, but the big troll and all the freeze framing. That's
$125 million. $125 million. $125 million.
So let's get back to the storyline. How'd you guys like the story when you were reading the book?
I wouldn't know
where it was going. For one.
What?
I did not.
Rhea, maybe you could explain to us. And so I was just like, well, did I need pictures? Maybe it's like a picture novel and I needed the pictures to bring it all together. And she said, nope. So I don't know. Help us out.
Pausing and then I'm regrouping. All right, now what did I just take in? Nothing. Okay, start again. And each time I was like, what am I missing? I just had a hard time connecting with the actual storyline. And I get it was like humans and then trolls and fairies lived in a different world that humans didn't know about, and it would blow our mind. And
yeah,
but the whole Oculus thing and
don't give it any benefit of the doubt, Lynn. Don't give it. We watched Little People. We watched all of these movies with two different worlds, and we understood them. We just didn't understand Artemis.
I was so I felt like I was going to be the odd one out on this one because I remember you guys talking about this and have read it already.
No, Rhea. Just Rhea.
No, I had read it before.
Oh.
Right. So I just assumed that.
This was
that time either.
This was my bonding series with my middle child in middle school. Because the books, they're that thick, like Harry Potter. And, you know, we were able to read it and create our own world and think of things. And so I think at that time it was like Lord of the Rings. So you really could think like out the box. Second time around, I didn't have that same feeling as an adult.
Oh, you knew we were gonna be mad.
Yeah, because I was just like, yeah, I mean, how much of this was me and how much of this was Desmond's influence over me? Because I literally read the entire series with him.
90%.
I'm just glad that I wasn't. I just knew coming in here today that I was going to be the only one that I'm like, okay, I'm lost and I'm so sorry, but I did not get it. So I'm so glad and relieved.
I had to fight my inner urge to like text y'all and be like, WTF are we reading?
Right.
What is this? And I'm like, no,
But, you know,
save it for the podcast, save it. But like each chapter, it was like, oh, chapter blah blah blah. And I'm like, what? Is that over yet?
Right.
I think that's gonna be our new thing. Save it for the cast, okay? Save it for the podcast.
But literally, like, y'all, time out. What are we reading?
Right.
now look, when you can read it and then listen to it and then read it and you still have no idea what the story is about, that's a problem, Rhea.
But I knew what it's about because I actually love the series comes together much better.
That's what I was gonna say. I really want to like read book 2 so that like maybe like the continuation of the story would make more sense to me, or even connect. Because sometimes you need like some kind of buffer to like bring you further. Because like I mean, Harry Potter, it was like the first one, you got it, done with. But then the real meat of the story built from all the rest of them. So I'm thinking, well, maybe with like Artemis Fowl, the other stories are gonna like increase and get more exciting and connect.
Exactly, Lynn.
So,
Exactly.
I'm not reading anymore. I'm not reading anymore.
Twitter, Treva?
You guys told me that when it came to 50 Shades of whatever, and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
You're right. True that.
And then book 2, I was like, okay, I'm with you, Champagne.
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe it just needs to build more, or a
So
different.
are you saying that we have to read
difference
another one?
The difference is with Harry Potter, though, you were still entertained. You knew exactly what was going on, so it could only get better. So this one, I just.
Well, and the same thing with the 50 Shades. Like, even if you didn't like it, you still understood it.
Yeah.
Can we compare it to like Hunger Games or something? Not 50 Shades. I'm having a hard time of correlating the two. My head. I was like, yeah, no, I knew what that one was about.
So, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Did you guys like the movie?
No.
No.
Now, the movie was horrible.
No.
So the movie really pissed me off. It was horrible. I knew it. It was Disney-fied. Disney ruined that series.
You did
I
say
mean,
that.
first of all, the freaking butler with the white hair and the goofball looking eyes. How am I doing that? What the
It's like Dom. Who are you, Dom? Go away, Dom.
Right. And why are we calling you Dom? Why? Well, your name was Buck in the book.
Crazy.
Right?
Oh, wait, he had a name in the book?
His name was
Yeah.
Buck.
It was Domovi Butler, and he didn't like being called Butler because it made it seem like he was a butler, but that was his actual name.
Yeah.
And actually, that's from the movie, not the book. But he went by, some people called him Butler, but he usually went by Dom. Yeah, so his character I was not a fan of.
But even in the book, when I remember reading it,
I don't even know what I was saying.
he was the butler, but he was also the protector of Artemis. So that's kind of like why he shouldn't have been called just butler, because he was much more than that. But this whole crap that they came up with in the Disney movie, I'm just very upset. I'm very, very, very upset.
So do you think that they like had it one way, and then once Disney bought it and put it on like Disney Plus, they like changed it a little bit to be more Disney friendly?
I think it was created for Disney. I'm
grasping straws here because it was just
no. I think not, Rhea, because they delayed the release of it, like they did a whole bunch of movies when Disney bought out whatever it was originally filmed on, so that they could modify it. So
I don't understand. I mean, they should have went to Pixar because I'm going to tell you something. I remember reading that
So
book.
the same company?
Is it the same company?
They're
thought
different
so.
companies, but Pixar does own Disney.
Oh, okay. So my problem is we are in the year of 2020. And I don't know why Holly had these mechanical wings that look like something that I pulled out of a hanger.
It was like
No.
a steampunk like theme. It was like, what is
it was
these like
that
gadgets?
movie what was that movie we watched where they had the train cars driving? It was an old movie.
Oh yeah, with the guy.
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah. That was the
Steampunk.
graphics that they used in this movie.
I was so angry. I was like, we couldn't do real goblins? We couldn't do real fairies? Like,
No.
this is Disney now. Whatever. I don't know who put it together, but that was absolutely horrible. The scenes were horrible. They made it too people-ish. Like, I thought I was going to be in the real world and then turn into fairyland, and that would have made it a little bit more entertaining. Even for
Oh yeah.
it was
They
just
could have
horrible.
done so much with CGE on that. You're right.
So
That
wait,
been better.
Munch Diggins, he was a dwarf, but not a dwarf, right? So
Right.
since when do dwarfs are like moles? Like since when do they burrow under like dirt and like eat the dirt and shoot it out of their butt? Like that's not what dwarfs do. So I was like, where are you going with this dwarf thing? Because I get he's a giant dwarf, but like that's not what dwarfs do.
Added that, I mean, made it up for the book for whatever reason. I don't know, but that was very strange.
It was like,
What? The
No, but he
poop-
was
the
a
poop-
dwarf.
Yeah.
He was a dwarf in the movie. I mean, in the book, and he ate through dirt and stuff.
Yeah.
that's what I'm
But
saying.
you
It's
know
like,
what I was thinking? If you think of, now you may have to pause for a second, put your brain, right?
we're ready.
If you think of
Musa.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they dug holes in the ground
With
like,
shovels.
With
Yeah, I was
shovels.
about to say, with shovels.
With shovels.
Not the
So this was a different twist on it, and he opened his mouth and he burrowed holes with his mouth.
Like a mole.
Right.
It's just a
Like
different
a
kind of
mole.
It's
Smart
actually
moles.
a pretty disgusting stereotype that the dwarfs all burrow in the ground. When you think about it, like wow.
Well,
I wasn't gonna go there,
Disney
but I was
dwarf.
just having the whole fusion of a dwarf and a mole really bothered me because every time he kept like shooting stuff out of his butt and his jaw, and I'm just like, that's not what dwarfs do.
Okay,
Oh.
okay, let me explain something to you. Even that, could we make some graphics a little bit better? Like, when I remember reading that book, I can't remember, I was like picturing somebody eating dirt and the dirt kind of just squirting out like diarrhea. We couldn't even get that right. Like, the whole graphic for that was horrible.
He had on like boxers that were like red and white striped, and then it was like shooting out from the boxer. So I was like, is it dust or is it like
Exactly.
actually dirt?
Exactly.
Well, so as it relates to the poop coming out of the butt, you said you wanted more graphics. I personally didn't need to see diarrhea, so can we unpack that a little? Like, what more
Well,
graphics?
that's my point.
see about
Unpack
the
it. Show you're making a movie. You're making a movie for kids.
Trailer.
Make some balls shooting out, balls of dirt. Like, do something. I was just nothing. There was absolutely nothing entertaining about this whole entire movie. Nothing.
Well, also
I
I
don't know.
not that I wanted it to be like Mary Poppins, where like the humans were human and then like the cartoons were cartoons, but I needed some kind of like differentiation. So I feel like it was like the humans were humans, and they went like down under and through, and then they came to like the fairy world, and it was like the centaur. First of all, like he was like prancing around in his place, and I'm like, wait, are you just dancing? And then I saw the whole horse butt, and I was like, oh, we're supposed to be prancing like a centaur. Okay, it's still terrible with his like half hair, but whatever. So then I went to like the fairies, and there was no facial differentiation between like a centaur and like a fairy, and like I mean the troll of course was ugly, but like the dwarf was like just hairy, and I'm like, how was there no like this difference in the faces? Like it killed my imagination because that's not what I
That's
thought
exactly what it did, Lynn. And that's it just ruined a childhood memory. I just don't like it. And I wasn't even a child. I was like 20, 25, almost 30. But still, it ruined that memory. I'm so upset over this movie. I could just scream.
It ruined mine from last week, so.
I'm
I actually
so
stopped
sorry.
writing notes after the first 15 minutes of the movie. I'm just like, Yeah, it's nothing really to write. It's
Now,
nothing like the book.
what
I
about
only
the
had one good
butler's
compliment about
the
the local
butler's
movie
niece
fair
or
or the show.
whatever? The butler's niece or whatever?
Mhm.
It was his niece.
Mhm.
Was his sister in the book, but
That's
it's niece
her.
in the movie.
All I kept seeing was hair everywhere. She was running, and I'm like, what's her face look like? And then I
She
thought it was like
How about she's running
the
everywhere?
chick
She's
from like
running-
Annie, and I'm like, oh, that's not her. I completely like sidetracked my mind from the book and movie to like looking at who is this little actress? Did she
Mhm.
Annie? No, that's not her. Oh, focus on the movie. Didn't pay attention at all.
Right.
so we were watching it, and it was funny because it was weird. I didn't notice it the first time, but the second time I watched the movie, it was like she disappeared, like when he was hurt and was dying, and it's like, where is she? Like, this is
Right.
actually your family member, and you're gone, and you're here. Artemis, am I crying? Did I cry?
He was the guy from Big Mile or Green Mile all of a sudden.
3 miles. Balls. I'm tired. Balls.
That just horrible.
Horrible.
I only had one compliment the whole like movie, but I'll wait till we get to the casting, and that's about
I'm
it.
there. I'm with you. Are we talking about Colin? Mm-hmm.
No, I was talking about Josh Gad. Y'all know I love.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
I
your
love
voice.
him too.
Right.
I
I
love
said
it.
that when I was watching it. I said, oh, Lynn is going to be happy.
Yeah.
But it was
That's
hard to
it.
me.
He
That's
didn't
it.
look like himself. I was like, wait, am I watching the right movie? Is that him? So yeah.
I recognize like his voice, his vocal style, and I'm like, that's definitely Josh Gad. And then like he did something where they was doing like the interview like portion, and like they zoomed in close, and I was like, that's my guy, it's Josh Gad. Okay, I was a little happy about that. That's about
But
it.
don't you think it's funny that you had to wait and make sure that you saw it because there was actually something done a little different to him, and everybody else, like, you added nothing. You added nothing to these characters. It was horrible.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, my positive on the movie was Colin Farrell, because
Yeah.
he's just a gorgeous person to me.
And it's all like 3 scenes or 3
I
shots.
was
Where
gonna say
he's
it was
like,
hardly in it.
Well, those are the only parts of the movie that I understood. I'm like, oh, he's the dad?
Oh
So,
man.
Champagne,
Yeah.
you need to go down your list for
I
the
don't-
adaptation.
I don't have a list.
It's just, 100%.
Notes.
I have
After
one
the
note
first
too.
15 Yeah. After the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh, what am I? I have nothing.
He was like, put this over here.
Let me just
Really,
focus
really
a little bit more.
sorry, guys. And I don't think we will have to read the rest of the series because I couldn't even imagine doing
That's
other
okay.
movies.
I know.
I can't imagine.
Even if it had a theatrical release, I don't think it would have had the same uproar to make a second movie. So I mean, first of all, I don't know how you get the budget for the first movie.
Right.
But the second one, I don't think it's going to be made either.
I mean, I'm just wondering if we can come to a consensus about the fact that even if they did make another movie, that
I cannot vote for that because
I'm not voting for it either. They could always do better.
You got
Yeah.
my vote.
we're half. We're half and half here.
God dang,
okay.
God dang it, Lynn. That's not right because our bylaws say Treva breaks the tie. Damn it.
Wait, so you want to read the second book?
What?
Not read.
No, it was 2 not read and 2 reads, so it's half and half. She's only the tiebreaker, and it's 4, so
There is no tie ever.
I know. Anyways,
Okay. Anyway, so I think we can move to the rating. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean, unless Rhea, did you want to try to do some more convincing, or what does it say? Did you want to? I mean, you owe all of us an apology. That's for sure.
I can start. I actually was kind of excited to like see what they would do with this because like taking a clean blank slate like that, like you can make anything to feed the imagination of kids, and I feel like it's a bigger template than it would be for like a regular schmegler movie. So like you had the perfect like way to make a great movie and a budget for it, but to make a great movie, and they just fell short of the movie. But it fell very close to the book because the book fell short too.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm torn because I was like, I'm giving it a sip. I hated it, but I hated the book and I hated the movie. So I guess it's a full glass because they're equal.
Negative.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
right this one.
back on there. I too hate
I'm gonna go
the book,
with sip,
and
but I was a little lost.
but I hated the book and I hated the movie also. But I just felt like it really wasn't the same for me. But I don't quite know if it's because I have no idea what I read. So it's gotta get a sip for me. It's gotta get a sip.
And I don't know. Well, I do know, technically, but I feel I would have if the movie would have stuck exactly as to the book and still be horrible, even though it was horrible, but it could have been horrible and stuck to the book at the same time. Then my rating maybe been a little different, but they were both equally terrible and equally different. So a sip. If I could get an empty glass, it would be.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
I'm gonna give you an empty glass in a little bit because I'm working on this. So yeah, I think I love the book, like I said, when it was young, when I was a little younger. And again, could have been a little bit of the bonding moment with my middle one. So I don't necessarily think I didn't like the book because I felt the same about it. I just wasn't as enthusiastic about it. But the movie was absolutely horrible, and I agree with everything that Champagne just said. And it's going to get a sip for me.
Okay. All right. This movie's getting nowhere near a bottle.
Nowhere.
And
Nowhere.
but we got consensus.
We got some backwash. That's about it.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm not going to recommend that anybody check out this movie or read this book. I just can't. Unless you want to give us some feedback because maybe you think your opinion might be different than us. We would love to hear that. But other than that, I can't recommend
If your
anything
kids
about
enjoyed it, if anybody you know enjoyed it, lay down the street, somebody enjoyed it, let us know, please.
I don't think anybody enjoyed it. You couldn't even enjoy it if you didn't read the book. It wasn't even an enjoyable movie. And I'm mad.
Unless you're under 5.
I don't know. We had a 5-year-old watching it. Didn't love it.
Nevin was not interested.
No, walked away very quickly.
Okay.
Well,
Thumbs up.
shut that down.
Yeah, I think he even had to put money in the swear jar because he said stupid.
Yeah, he said it was stupid. The swear jar for him is the stupid. Yeah, you're right, Treva. You're absolutely right.
That's my Nevi.
Right.
Thank you guys for listening, tuning in, watching us on YouTube.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Read, watch, wine.